In a resounding victory for voting rights advocates, a Georgia judge delivered a significant blow to efforts aimed at restricting access to the ballot box. Fulton County Superior Court Judge Thomas Cox struck down a series of election rules championed by allies of former President Donald Trump. These rules were seen as attempts to suppress voter turnout, particularly among minority communities. Judge Cox's ruling declared these rules unconstitutional and a violation of state law. Critics argued that vague mandates provided an avenue for partisan officials to delay or overturn election outcomes. Judge Cox agreed, deeming the rule illegal and a threat to the integrity of the electoral process. This ruling serves as a powerful rebuke to efforts to reshape election laws and underscores the judiciary's role in safeguarding the right to vote. Judge Cox's ruling extended beyond the reasonable inquiry and hand-counting mandates, encompassing 7 different election rules passed by the Georgia State Election Board. These rules, riddled with provisions designed to disenfranchise voters, included restrictions on absentee voting, increased scrutiny of ballot drop boxes, new identification requirements for absentee ballots, and expanded access for partisan poll watchers. In his meticulously reasoned 11-page ruling, Judge Cox meticulously outlined how each of these measures violated both state and federal law. The judge's decision was met with widespread praise from voting rights groups and Democrats, who had long argued that these new rules disproportionately targeted Black voters and other minority groups. Their concerns stemmed from a long and shameful history of voter suppression tactics aimed at disenfranchising these communities. The ruling is seen as a much-needed victory against these discriminatory practices. Moreover, the decision strikes a blow to the nationwide effort by Republican-led legislatures to rewrite election laws in the wake of Trump's 2020 election loss. These efforts, fueled by unsubstantiated claims of widespread voter fraud, have sought to erect barriers to voting under the guise of enhancing election security. Judge Cox's ruling serves as a powerful counterpoint to this narrative, exposing these laws for what they truly are: a blatant attempt to suppress voter turnout and undermine the democratic process. Judge Cox's emphatic assertion that the Georgia State Election Board had overstepped its legal authority in enacting these new election rules further underscores the high stakes of this battle. He unequivocally stated that the board lacked the power to create new election laws, a function reserved solely for the state legislature. This ruling serves as a stark reminder of the importance of respecting the separation of powers and adhering to established legal processes. The controversial election rules had been met with a barrage of legal challenges from the outset. The Democratic National Committee and the State Democratic Party filed lawsuits alleging that the rules were unconstitutional and violated the Voting Rights Act, a landmark piece of legislation that has been instrumental in protecting the voting rights of minority groups. Judge Cox's ruling represents a resounding victory for these groups and could have far-reaching implications for similar legal challenges across the country. The decision also raises critical questions about the role and authority of the State Election Board. By exceeding its mandate and attempting to implement sweeping changes to election procedures, the board's actions threaten to undermine public trust in the electoral process. Judge Cox's ruling serves as a much-needed corrective and compels the board to reconsider its approach to election rulemaking. The outpouring of support for Judge Cox's ruling from organizations dedicated to protecting civil liberties, such as the American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU, highlights the significance of this decision for the future of voting rights in America. These organizations have consistently argued that the new rules presented an existential threat to democracy, disproportionately disenfranchising minority voters and eroding the fundamental right to vote enshrined in the Constitution. The ACLU and other voting rights groups have vowed to remain vigilant and continue their fight against any attempts to restrict voting access. Former Republican State Rep. Scott Turner, one of the plaintiffs in the lawsuit, added a bipartisan voice to the chorus of praise for the ruling, hailing it as a victory for the Constitution. Turner's involvement in the lawsuit underscores the growing recognition, even among some conservatives, that efforts to restrict voting rights represent a dangerous assault on American democracy. His participation serves as a powerful reminder that the fight to protect voting rights transcends partisan divides. Judge Cox's decision serves as a timely and necessary reminder that the right to vote is the cornerstone of a functioning democracy. It is imperative that all eligible citizens have equal access to the ballot box and that their votes are counted fairly and accurately. The erosion of voting rights represents a direct attack on the principles of self-government and undermines the very fabric of American society.